Alright, you guys. It's art day. We need more arty things. We need to be doing more arty things. Everybody's Sunday is going well. I hope my internet doesn't get pissed off today. Being a little weird yesterday, so hopefully today it has sorted itself. Alright. Show. This is where we're at so far. So last week we started to make sure that our waterfall was getting put in. We started putting our land in here to start to frame out the first pool in the water holding area. Sorry, I've got a piece of fuzz or something in my eyelashes. And that's an annoying feeling, so we're going to try to get that real quick. So, you might hear the outside noises a little bit louder today. Apologies. We do have our window open for just a little bit before it plummets back down to freezing temperatures again. Apparently we're supposed to have another cold front come through, I think, sometime tomorrow. Okay. Alright, so we left off with needing to put in our dark green parts of our land over here. So if I can find my dark green here, we'll get going. Don't know how long today's art stream is going to go. Just going to be upfront with that right now. I'm not feeling well at all today. It's why we got started a little bit late. But we'll see what we can do. Let me just make sure that's muted. Okay. Alright. So I'm just gonna kind of stretch this out just a little bit. And this one I'm gonna roll just a teeny bit. Oh, let go. Sorry, I hit the microphone. Yeah, just because I want to get that fiber just a little bit more rolled up on itself. Sorry, my voice is kind of shit today. Allergies are angry, body is just angry about everything right now, so. That spot looked like it needed a little more attention in there. Do you still have the blue puppy? Because somehow it ended up on your chair, and I needed to get it back to Momo.
I thought... You're okay, buddy. You're okay. Mommy just happened to mention you. I think it's on the bed.
Oh, okay. So I wasn't sure why it was on your chair. And then I realized it wasn't with Momo. Momo got a blue stuffed toy that I've been making sure stays with him. I don't know if he really gives a shit about it, but sometimes he kind of cuddles with it, it looks like. Whenever Zuzu doesn't steal it. Zuzu has his own somewhere. I don't know where it's scampered off to, but Zuzu feels the need to present us with anything he can find whenever we walk back into the room from being outside, even if we were only outside like 2 minutes. So I hope everybody's doing okay. The end of the weekend is coming for those of us in the States. Although, I don't know if some people have a 3-day weekend or not. President's Day is a funny day. I think it kind of depends on where you work. 'Cause I think the city offices are closed, but it's not like Christmas or something where retail stores are closed. But I'm not sure if we have trash pickup tomorrow. I'm really not. I'm gonna have to see if I can find out. I don't want to go through all the trouble of dragging the heavy trash can out to the curb and trying to stabilize it if it's not going to get picked up, because it's kind of windy today. Alright. Just get this attached in here. So I did just barely started to work on another one off stream. I'd actually started to work on it when the power was out, and then within 5 minutes of me starting it, the power came back. So I haven't really had much other time to work on it because I'm super behind on challengers right now for Wednesday's stream. I only have 2 ready because the internet was being a little weird this weekend, for which I am not sure why. And I don't know if the stream schedule will be affected this week by things we have going on at the house. I will let you know. Make sure you're watching Twitter, because I will post there when I know more. As of right now, we're gonna operate under the normal schedule, and we'll figure things out from there. We'll know more in a couple of days. So I really can't tell you anything else aside from that, because I don't know anything else. Alright, so this is just our base for this side of our ground. Just want to get that worked in and try to get as much as of that blue covered up that we can. So, how was everybody's weekend? Did you guys do anything fun? Do anything exciting? Go anywhere? Did you get to have any downtime? Or was it just a weekend of everything is terrible, I'm just going to hide from everyone? Nobody talk to me. I've had those days, so I completely understand that. More than you can imagine. I hope we can do our challenge stream now. I don't think that streams... Alright, okay, let me see. Let me think about how I'm going to word this. Streams, we have to have some repair work done at the house. Streams will still happen. They just might happen delayed. Like later in the day. Providing how I'm feeling. We'll still try to get them in. It just might not be till late in the day. So not at normal stream schedule time. I don't know if that's going to be this week or next week. But I will keep you guys updated. So you all know what's going on. I did manage to finally get the Parkitect playthrough of that challenge that I recorded, where I actually finally understood the goals fully. For some reason, the way they worded that one optional, non-optional goal, it really confused me, and I thought we had to have completed everything by September year 2, and it turned out we didn't. I was just severely misunderstanding it because of how my brain processes things. But once I finally realized that, I was like, oh, we could have kept going on that other playthrough, and I'm dumb. So, I re-recorded another attempt, and we finally got that lake campaign challenge thing. So I got that up on YouTube last night. Because I didn't want to make you guys sit through it again in case I was wrong. And misunderstood yet again. I think I missed my target spot there a little bit. Because that doesn't look like it filled anything in that I was trying to fill in. Oy, okay. Let's try that again. I mean, it doesn't matter too much if it's not fully precise, because we're going to come back over with the light green, but it's just trying to make it a little bit easier. Get as many of the gappy gaps as we could. So I've got the monk ready, and I've got the druid ready for Wednesday. DK is gonna sit another week because I just don't have the time right now. It's just not happening. I'll have to get the others dealt with first. Warrior and Shaman I don't think will take too long. Shaman didn't drag too bad the last level. Hopefully that holds true again this level. And so we got the Warrior, the Shaman, and the Demon Hunter. So I'm gonna have a backlog of them all trying to clamber into Bastion at once, it seems. Well, that's gonna be interesting. Possibly. Alright. Come here, friend. You're being silly. You just want to be twisty, I guess. If you really want to be twisty, then I guess who am I to stop you? Suppose we can work around that. So I did pick up a float frame that, well, I don't know if it's really a float frame. It kind of reminds me of a float frame from the Dollar Tree for the little 4x4 thing that we did. However, it's a little thick and I had to put the back side frame on backwards for the frame to close properly. It looks cute in there, it's just it's a little crooked at the moment. That was hard to get in there because now I've got fingerprints all over the glass on the inside and the outside. But we're probably gonna keep that one. This one, depending on how it comes out, though, we'll probably put up on the Etsy shop. I probably don't have anything up on the Etsy shop right now, come to think of it. Everything may have come down. And I don't think I have the funds to relist right now. Although I think I might wait until we get some needle felted stuff to put up there just for something new. I'm just making sure this is all nice and tacked down in here. Maybe we can pick up some more of the crunchy, crunchy, crunchy noises. Kind of sounds like Velcro when you're peeling it off. All right. No, come back here, tool. Kind of need you to cooperate. Still have a little bit of a gap in there, but we can probably cover that with the other color that's going to come in on top. So I'm going to try to tell myself to move on to a different spot here. Alright, so let's see. Find some scissors. Trim that one down a bit. Let's try that again. Okay. Actually, I am going to need you back to that length there. Alright, so we're using a small gauge needle, and you can use roving, wool roving. I'm using acrylic yarn because budget. It would probably look a lot softer and a little less fuzzy if we were using the wool roving. But this is what I had the budget for, and so this is what we're doing. And it's not bad. We're making it work. So the only thing is, if you go with the acrylic wool, acrylic yarn, you have to prep it before you can, well, I mean, you might be able to use it without the prepping. It's just not gonna, it's gonna look like strands. It won't look fluffy. It'll have the more lines to it, I think. So, like, you cut off a couple, a few lengths. They're pretty much the same length, just some strips. Hold them in your hand, and then you get a sticker brush. If you don't know what that is, you can find it in your pet supply aisle where they have their grooming brushes. And it's basically looks like a rectangle attached to a stick. And it's got a bunch of little spiky, angled arms coming off of the rectangle. They kind of use them to get the undercoat off of dogs that have the double coats and stuff. So you want that. And then you're basically just gonna brush your yarn until it's not strandy anymore and it's fluffy. You will have like clumps of fluff that get stuck in the brush. That's fine. You can still use that. Just carefully detach it from the brush and put it wherever you're keeping your yarn that you've fluffed. I'm just keeping mine in Ziploc bags so that I can keep track of what colors I'm using, because I took the wrapper off of the yarn and cut it down to just show me the color name and the UPC code on it, and put it in the Ziploc bag. And then I can color match from the balls of yarn that haven't been combed out yet to refill my bags as I need to, because our storage space is very, very limited. At least right now. All right. Let's see about getting this guy in here, and make sure that you do have your finger protectors I know it might seem silly, and you'll be like, oh, I don't need that. I'm not gonna stab myself. Trust me, it might happen. You could get distracted for a split second, and bam, needle notches in your finger. Not good. I've actually had it kind of hit this and go into it, but it didn't really hurt me that bad because I had the protector on it to slow it down. It may have also been the angle that it hit it at that it went into it, so. But it would have been much worse had I not had that on. And this could potentially go a little bit faster, maybe, if I was using a multi-needle tool. I have one multi-needle handle, but it takes like 8 needles and it's heavy, and sometimes it misses where I want it to go. So if you had like maybe a 3-1 or a 4-1, that might work pretty well. But that's really going to be a matter of preference. And there's going to be times where you want the single needle anyway, so I'm fine just doing the single needle. It's all good. I don't really care if it takes me a little bit longer. Gives me time to make sure I'm not messing something up too bad. And I feel like I have a little bit more control with the single one, personally. So we are attempting to follow along with a Bob Ross tutorial for The Joy of Painting, Season 3, Episode 1. And you can find that on YouTube if you would like to watch it in its entirety at one go. Since I have it paused, because there's no way we can keep up with Bob's speed of painting doing this. It's not going to happen. He moves much too quickly, for me at least, because painting's a faster medium. It is. It's just going to be. And we've painted along with Bob. Several times with different seasons. But I thought, why not try to do this with needle felting? Because I've never seen anybody try to do his tutorials with needle felting. They may have, and I'm just not aware of it. But I've seen all kinds of other people on YouTube following it in different ways and whatnot. So I was like, let's try this. Because this sounds like fun. And I kind of like this a bit. I feel like this is a bit more travel friendly as well, providing you have like enough of your wool felted for what you're doing, so that you don't run out of a color. But like, you don't have to worry about your paint smearing. Now, it would be hard to do this. I wouldn't recommend doing this plein air. That would be a bit of a nightmare, especially on a windy day. I mean, if it's not windy where you are, maybe. Although taking a photo and then bringing it back to wherever you're working might be a better idea, and working off the photo. But like, I certainly feel like this is something that you could take on vacation and work in like your hotel room at the end of the day or something, if you just needed some chill time or whatever. Right, one more patch there, and then I just want to hit this section down here one more time. That looks, we still have that little gap there, but I think that's fine. I think we'll be able to, oh, I know, actually that's a little bit bigger than I thought it was. That's okay, we'll just tack this guy down over it, and all will be well. Well enough. At least it's not quite as big. I'm just re-evening out the back, because then it makes the front sit a little bit better. My top edge is a little wonky there, but we can probably clean that up when we get back down to the end of things. Alright, I don't even think we really quite need that much for this last little section here in this spot. I know I said I was going to leave it be, but it's bugging me. So let's just kind of take care of that now. Okay, let's see where that leaves us at this point. Alright, that's pretty good. So we're gonna grab our green and we're just gonna stick the dark green back in its bag there. And where did I put, there it is. Get our light green. Hey, Zorts. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it takes a little while, especially when I don't have that much time right now. I would do this more often if we had the time. See about getting... Ow, 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 my ear. That one ear of mine and this one earbud do not get along. Every so often, they get super cranky with each other. Alright, so we're gonna start getting in our green here, our light green. And we're going to try to put that in roughly where we think the land is going to come up underneath of our trees back here. I can't believe how windy it is again. I hope we don't have any more power poles fall, because, you know, then I'm just gonna completely have a nervous breakdown. That was bad enough the other night. So if shit could stop going wrong for just a little while, that would be fantastic. $100%. I've got a few loose guys here. I'm just trying to sink down. I can see them. I don't know how well they're translating across the camera there. All right. So this is kind of our lighter grassy highlights. We don't want to kill all of the dark sections, so we're gonna have to kind of lay this in kind of loosey-goosey. Make sure our threads are a little bit separated. You okay?
What was that?
You alright, Momo?
You okay, Mose? I think he just had a bad water thing. It looks like I see a little bit of water on the ground.
Like,
okay?
you got a drink, but...
Just go down the wrong tube, buddy? You alright?
That was a terrifying noise.
Yeah, you're alright.
He's okay?
Yeah, he seems to be okay.
Okay. Momo has what the vet thinks is a slightly narrow esophagus, a narrow throat. Because he does a lot of the reverse sneezes that kind of sound like he's either going to be sick or cough. And when he drinks sometimes, immediately afterwards he'll throw up. Because of how it goes down. But that was a noise that we don't normally hear. Well, that was a little terrifying. Okay, grab another section of fluff. I'm just gonna kind of anchor that in on the edge there, and then just kind of spread that guy out just a little bit. Sometimes like the really super thin strands just kind of melt in and sort of melt away, so sometimes this takes a little bit longer to get this quote-unquote shaded in. Okay. Yeah. It's so wispy. Alright, I'm gonna see if we can get this a little bit thicker up here, because we did have to go a little bit thicker on the other side, so we kind of want the sides to at least match in their strand thickness in spots. Which, yes, that might be a little bit hard to do, but I think we can do it. But it did take us a little bit to build up the other side, so. But we did get a fair amount done yesterday. Not yesterday, last week. I'm sorry. My brain is got way too many tabs open. What is that? Might have been something from inside the mat there. So what's everybody up to today? Anything? Nothing? I'm looking forward to it getting warmer so that I can plant my wildflower mix I got for Valentine's Day. Still a little too cold yet. I can't plant it yet. Because our weather this week, holy shit. So you're deciding on what to stream? That can be a very difficult decision some days. But so yesterday I think it was almost 60. I think. No, I think it was in the high 50s. I think I saw it like around 55 at one point because I was like, damn, I'm cold. Why am I so cold? And then I looked at the temperature. I'm like, I shouldn't be cold. Today I think it's supposed to be almost 60. It's supposed to be almost 60 or just above 60 tomorrow. And then tomorrow night we're supposed to have severe thunderstorms, or tomorrow at some point during the day. I'm like, oh good, we're entering spring severe weather season. Wonderful. And it's supposed to end up like dropping down to 17 after being in the 60s one day this week, and then we're supposed to have like 2 days of wintry mix. And then it's gonna be cold for a few more days. I'm like, fucking hell. Can we just please pick a temperature, please? And stick with said temperature for at least, you know, a week or two. That would be super freaking awesome. It's 45 there right now. So you're leveling and I'm level another pacifist, soon level 29. You're level 52, stealthed into a cave in Bastion, thinking the mobs would be the same level and not see me, and they were level 60. Oh no, yeah, Bastion's got some areas where the mobs are 60. And yeah, oof. That had to be a surprise. I bet you didn't even really have any time to run either. They smelled you and poof. That's gotta suck getting that far. I'm sorry. I can only take my pacifist into Bastion like after 11 p.m. at night or midnight because it's so busy. When Down in Front gets that far, if they get that far, I'll have to record that for you guys because I don't want to stream that. And I won't be able to stream that during normal stream time. I was gonna say, a 60 versus a 52, you're not gonna be very surprised if you made it out of that. Alright. Grab some more fluffy fluff. What was that? You know,
just my phone saying everything's fine. Like a health update bullshit thing.
I thought you were fucking with me for a second. I was like, what? Alright then. Well, thank you, phone, I guess. I was gonna say, I know it's not a security camera notification because I don't think the camera's on. I think it's reattached to the timer. We're now feeding 2 different stray cats. Well, no. The one we believe is a stray, the other one we believe is an outdoor cat that sort of belongs to someone. Over Christmas, when the one cat that had been here regularly had vanished for like a week or 2 weeks, another cat started showing up, and we had seen this cat like once or twice before. we'll refer to that one as the white cat. The cat that had been eating here, PC the gray cat, did not like him, and they had gotten into a pissing contest a little bit in our driveway, and then we didn't see the white cat for a while. Well, now the white cat is back, and doesn't seem to care that PC doesn't want them here because they're hungry. So they were having quite the loud dispute about it the other night outside in our driveway. I don't think it came to blows because it didn't sound like that, but they were just being very vocal at each other. Eventually we stopped hearing them and realized that they had moved a bit further back down our driveway. And then I think they finally both gave up for the night and went on their way, periodically checking back and forth. Today, I don't think we put food out yesterday at all. We had so much going on that I just don't think we got around to it. This afternoon, when Russell took Zuzu out to potty out back in our yard, he's like, I think that white cat is actually a stray. And I was like, what do you mean? And he said he saw the white cat sleeping under a tree. I don't know if it was along the drainage ditch behind our house or if it was just across from the drainage ditch, somewhere back there. And I was like, oh dear. He's like, well, we can't do anything about it. I said, yeah, I know. There's no way. That cat's terrified of us anyway. It won't eat with us nearby. Although it was so fucking hungry the other night, even though it was terrified of everything, it was kind of eating while we were standing there. But if one of us tried to move it, it wanted to run. So we had to be like statues. So I don't know if it will warm up to us eventually. No idea. I mean, it could have a home and just be there chilling for the day, staking out the territory. I really don't know. But this is definitely a new development. And we'll have to see. How things progress with that. Okay. I think we might have to go a little bit thicker here. I mean, the other side did take us a little while to get sorted in place there. Are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
I thought I heard somebody yelling.
Nope.
Maybe it came from outside.
There were some kids walking by outside.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it was coming from out there or from the other room.
Nope, not me.
Alright. So, yeah, we'll see what happens challenger-wise this week. I swear that Monk has more lives than a cat right now. So hopefully we can at least get her to 59. I am on the podcast Saturday, this coming Saturday, so we'll hopefully have good news all the way around. I was really hoping that we could, talk about her hitting 60, but I don't have the time to get another full level out of her this week. That's not happening. So we'll just have to be happy with hopefully hitting 59. And hope we can hit 60 on her the following week. Alright. Tell you, my druid's got a couple lives on it too, although I haven't DC'd on the druid. But internet was definitely being a bit stuttery at times when I was trying to work on her yesterday. There were several times where I went, oh no, and Russell's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, everything's frozen, even Twitch. Nothing's happening, like things are buffering and I don't know what's going on. So I started like hitting Bark Skin and Ferocious Roar and all of the things because I didn't know what was gonna happen. Hitting Prowl I didn't think was gonna work because as soon as everything caught up with itself, the damage would have popped me out of Prowl anyway. I don't know if I can hit Prowl while in combat, actually. Wouldn't it be cool if druids could play dead, like hunters can feign death? Like, that would be cool. Like, I know the hunter pets can play dead, but that might make druids a little too... No, you can't prowl in combat. Okay, yeah. I was gonna say probably not, but... Because that would be a little OP. And, you know, a druid being able to play dead and drop aggro would probably also be too OP. But then again, you know, hunters can do it. And they have a pet. So I feel like if a hunter can do that, not that I'm like a huge fan of druids or anything, but I'm actually kind of salty over the druids because I keep having so many, or at least a couple in particular druids that I am constantly battling against in Bastion right now that are leather farming. They're level 60 and they're just run right in there and grab as many as they can in bear form, hitting Moonfire as they run by. Just as I'm about to pull a mob, they're the opposite faction of me. And I was hoping that we had at least come to a compromise where they would leave the moths alone, since that was the only thing I was pulling. Because it was pretty much the only thing that I could kill safely. And then they pulled a moth right in front of me as I was about to tag it. I'm like, damn it. Come on now. You have your pick of the mobs out here. You could at least have let me have the moth. And it's the same druid I keep seeing over and over again. You only do pacifist on a night elf druid for the shadow meld. Yeah. I've not had good luck with shadow meld, so I tend to not go night elf. Sometimes the night elves annoy me. Just that's me. Sometimes just their character models get on my nerves after a while. So I don't normally go night elf. But you know what? That's why there's all those races in the game that anyone can choose from. I think my pacifist that did hit 60 was a gnome. I like the gnomes because they're small and they're compact and I can see around them easier. So I can play a male gnome, that's fine. I can play a male goblin. So most of the characters I play are female because the male frames on them, I just have so much trouble seeing that it annoys me because I want to be able to see around my character at a comfortable camera angle that doesn't bother me. And that's really hard to do on a lot of the male characters. So, I mean, my Tauren, my druid's a Tauren female. She's just barely tolerable, but I'm not usually out of shapeshift, so that's kind of how I handle that. And I guess I could just deal with being a male Tauren druid and just be shapeshifted all the time, but most of my characters are female for that reason. What gnome kind were you that hit 60 on? Yeah, I did priest. Can't remember if I was discipline or holy. I think I was discipline. Gentle soul on the list is me. And right now I'm running that hunter pacifist down in front. I believe. Now, I don't know if anybody has started a hunter pacifist since the list went down, but I think I might be one of the only hunter pacifists actually on the list. And I'm running petless, weaponless, and have nothing combat related where I can actually hurt something, except for maybe frost trap. I'll have to take a look at that. That might kill a critter. I might have to take that off and just rely on feign death. But that character, I think, has been around since the pacifist contest we had way back. Some time ago. And I just didn't get around to working on leveling them for a while. A lot of my characters go through stages where they sit for a bit, so their real-world playtime is a little bit long in the tooth at times. Especially the bloodthirsties. Especially the bloodthirsties. Pretty sure that monk that we're working on was started back in Legion. My oldest bloodthirsty is my paladin, and she was started back in Warlords of Draenor. she's got some miles on her. Alright, let's get some. Oh, thank you. Let's get some more fluff. I don't want it too tightly floofed there. So let's see here about getting you maybe in here. I want to save a little bit of that dark splotch there. Don't have to have all of it, but I do want some of it. And we're gonna have to go in and add a little bit more blue, I think, to our water, because we need to get rid of the yellow, and then there's going to be white going in on top of that. Okay. So I'm excited to finish my build in Planet Zoo. I was kind of bummed I didn't get to fully finish it, but I had other things that I had to do that night, so I couldn't see it through to the end, because it probably would have been a couple of more hours before I got that fully sorted. But I'm excited to get back to that, and I'm glad that the can of air did the trick for my PC, because that was revving really hard while I was recording. Well, I was trying to record for Flamingo Falls, sandbox game I'm posting on YouTube. That was revving concerningly, and I was like, oh dear. Like, that's not good. Seemed like my video card fan had quite a bit of dust in it, so. Which was funny, because the outside air intake didn't look all that dusty, so. But I also don't remember the last time we blew that out either, so it was probably a while. Alright. So we're getting there. This part's a bit time consuming. But what can you do? Not a whole lot. Just kind of have to build it up to the shading that you want. Which is why I try to go a little bit thinner as I'm getting started, just to see how things are playing out, how they look, because it's easier to add on. Can't really take away. Because then if we decide that we used up a little too much of the dark and hid that, then we would have to come back in with some dark and work that back in places, and that might be a bit of a pain. So it's just easier to figure that out as we go. Then be after the fact and be like, oh, maybe we shoulda did this instead. Right. What on earth? That's a car. That's not a motorcycle. That's a car. That's, that didn't sound too healthy for being a car. Like, you can see the ghost image of it on the back. That's kind of fun. Alright. Traffic. Traffic is so loud. It's weird because the traffic will be so loud all day, and then by like 11 o'clock at night, at times like after 11, it'll be kind of like a ghost town, depending on the night. And it gets so eerie out there because it gets so quiet. It is crazy. Alright. So we still have to work on 2 new alerts for the channel. Have the idea. Husband just has to have the chance to work on them. So we still have a few more things coming. Working on a host alert and a raid alert. But that's probably still a couple of weeks out before that happens. At least we have the idea. Which is good, because you always need a place to start. So let's get that. I think that's a different. Nope. Is that the same car? I'm not sure. Everybody likes their stupidly loud vehicles here. It seems like a lot of people that live around here are doing a hell of a lot of compensating. which I don't really understand. Because it's not exactly deep south. But I guess because it's something they can get away with doing. They're gonna do it, I guess? I don't know. I think it's dumb. Quite honestly, but what do I know? Not a whole heck of a lot, apparently. Alright, just kind of anchoring down some spots here before we really go to town. Let's see what that's gonna fill in. Is your phone making noises or am I hearing phantom sounds? It's
Nope.
Okay, I'm hearing things. Alright.
I've got no notifications.
Okay. It could be one of the wind chimes, because one of the wind chimes outside kind of mimics a noise that's close to what your notification noise makes at times. Or I've just still got the sound stuck in my head, which is entirely possible. I may have fully gone crazy this week with everything that's happened. I just have to get in a couple of loose strands out here. So yeah, this does take a little bit of building up, but we're getting there. Have a little bit further to go. Let me get back in there. Same with you. We don't need you to be running all over the place here. Alright, so I'm just gonna try to keep a hold of this guy to sneak him out just a little bit. Okay. Let's see what dark sections we have left after putting this one in. I mean, you can kind of maneuver this into place to a degree, but it's still going to do what it's going to do to an extent. So what are you all doing for dinner today? Or what did you do for dinner? Like, I know it's still early, but I don't know what time zones people are in, so. Weren't you supposed to be cooking?
What was that, dear?
Weren't you supposed to be cooking?
Your mom's gonna have her leftover stuff, so I don't have to today.
Okay. Sorry, I just kind of thought about it. I was like, wait a minute. There was talk of that last night. I have to do dishes and then I don't know what I'm doing for dinner. I have two options. I can either have like Lipton noodle soup and some bread, or some chicken strips and some mashed potatoes. Kind of leaning towards the chicken strips and mashed potatoes tonight, because I can just put the chicken strips in the oven and go sit down. And the mashed potatoes are instant and take like 5 minutes, so haven't really decided yet. You had meatloaf with tomatoes and boiled potatoes. It's 10 p.m. here. Interesting. Yeah, my mom made some kind of baked pasta, but she used cheese that I don't like, so I can't eat that. I haven't been able to eat that cheese in forever, so I'm like, yeah, no, that's okay. I'll figure something else out. But last night we made pizza, but we used the last container of sauce that I had stored in the freezer. So I have to make more. We just use the same sauce that I do for pasta. So I have to make more sauce. I don't know when that's gonna happen. I'll probably know a lot more either tomorrow or Tuesday for what schedules and things are gonna look like for the rest of the week, because we got a lot of stuff up in the air at the moment. But if house construction or house repair work is happening on a stream day, we might have to wait to stream till later. But the VOD should be up if anybody misses it, and then within a few days they should end up on the YouTube channel too, so. There are options. Alright, so I made this guy a little bit thicker. Let's see what he looks like as we get him placed down here. It doesn't have to exactly match the other side. It probably shouldn't match the other side entirely, but I do want it a bit brighter than we're currently at the moment. because the repair work's gonna be noisy. So can't have that going on in the background. Well, I mean, we could, but I'm sure it would get annoying real fast, so. Yeah, that's not bad. I got a little too stuck though. You and our little bucket over there. Alright, so it's coming together. It's coming together. Need a bit more though. Not quite. Come back here. Little floof. Alright, not quite there with it yet. All right. We're definitely getting there. And this is why I put the dark green down first, because where we're getting thin spots in the light green, it's actually working to our advantage. And looks like a bit of ground shading. I wonder if the traffic's this loud back in off of this road. Like further back in the neighborhood behind us. I do wonder at times. It doesn't help that we have a large brick structure right across the street from us. So at times it feels like it amplifies the sound and bounces it back at us. So I'm sure that doesn't help. That seems pretty well attached there. Okay. More floof. We need all of the floof. Alright. So let's see about maybe adding a little bit more in here. Kind of seeing what we got to work with here. Now I do believe eventually we'll be putting in a cabin. I think that's down here. If I'm remembering correctly, so we'll see how that's gonna go. Let's see, let's try to get a bigger picture on this guy here. So, yeah, I think we need to be a little bit thicker in spots. Doesn't have to be all of the spots, but just some of the spots. We still feel a little thin. There we go. Okay, so we'll just do smaller, thicker sections and see how we're looking. And that should be doing pretty good. All right. A bit more fluff. All right, I'm just doubling up this section here. Wow, that wind. Hope we don't have the same kind of wind that we had last week. That was pretty bad. It just was roaring through the trees for a little over 24 hours. It's crazy. And then about 12 hours after the wind had stopped, a power pole fell all on its own. I'm thinking there had to be termites in that thing. Because it's crazy that it waited till after the wind to fall. Absolutely crazy. All right. gonna keep crunching along. Okay, let's do another kind of just smooth out on the back section here. Some stray fluff. All right. Let's get you popped into here. Is what I'm thinking next. All right. Looking pretty good. Still not quite fully where I want it to be though. I think I want a little bit more fuzz. I'm trying to compare it to our other side here. And I think I want a bit more of our dark section filled in here. Not too much of it, but a little bit. So we're probably gonna have to put the parents up in a hotel while they do house repairs for 2 days. And they're not happy about it. We may not have to, but we might have to. So, because we don't know if the water is going to be completely turned off for 2 days. Or just partially turned off for 2 days. Don't really know yet. So, this week is going to be an adventure. To say the least. That's for sure. So we will find out. So the one I started to work on offline, or off stream, is, where is it? I have a little thing of it here. Is this one. We'll see how it goes. I've only barely just started it. It's like 2 lines. On the felt, so it's not even worth really showing you guys any progress on that whatsoever. There's not really anything to show you just yet. But we'll see what happens. We did hear from Social Security that our lawyer was in touch with them and they received paperwork, and the paperwork was exchanged or some nonsense. So we found that interesting, that came from Social Security directly. Hopefully that's a good sign. I don't know yet. All I know is that this is taking for effing ever. Next month will be a year that we've been trying to get his disability sorted. So, not exactly super great, but I guess it's some sort of news. I guess that lets us know that the lawyer is actually doing something. Although we're not paying her until and if his case wins. That's how I understand it. So, still hoping for that to go through. Though they said it could be like 18 months from start to finish. So we still have a ways to go on that. $13, $14, $15, $16, $17, $18. Yeah, so we still have like a 6-month journey at least. On that grand adventure. Where do we want you to go? Maybe there, roughly. Yeah, definitely want to get back into zoo. I want to work on that garden area. That'll have to wait till Friday, though. And then we'll get to spin the wheel for the husbands. And see what he has to build. Alright, so we're getting there. I think we need a little bit more here. Alright. Just looks like it needs to be a bit thicker. In this spot. Kind of bummed my corners a little weird up here, but that's alright. We might be able to fix that one way or another. We'll be able to even that guy out up there. Alright. Ooh, gusty, gusty, gusty out there. All right. I know after these repairs are done, I'm going to have so much cleaning to do. You alright?
Mm-hmm.
Where'd you go?
Hmm?
Where'd you go? Oh, okay.
Starting to get to me.
I do have my lime thingy going too. I don't know if I need to add more oil to it or not, but
I honestly can't tell, but I don't need much.
that's what I was going to try to get. I was going to try to get a key lime or lime candle oil. I'd seen one for under 10. Alright, I think maybe just a little bit more on this side. I wanted this side to be a little bit brighter. Not quite as much dark on this side. We'll be moving on to the waterfall, or at least the first part of it, soon here. promise. Alright. Okay. Get our little tufty section here all tacked in. And maybe 1 or 2 touch-ups here. And then I think we'll be good to grab another color. Alright, let me just grab this and re-flatten this. You can kind of see where we've been working on here from some of the fiber getting pulled into there. We're gonna go back over everything with the big guy when we're all done to make sure that we don't have any loose fiber hanging out. So no worries on that stray brown string. We'll get it. And I think I just felted that to the pad. Like directly to the pad. What am I doing here? I'm not paying attention. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, I did. I got a little carried away off the edge there. That's alright. What can you do? That's fine. That's okay. Alright. You on our edge there, and we'll get you sorted out in here. That's okay, because we're getting there. Getting to where it needs to be. Now some of this will probably get covered up with some trees, I think, that are going to happen down here maybe. Stays windy like this much longer, I am going to have to repair one of those wind chimes again. So we did finally get the wind chime cord, the right one. That was an odd sounding gust of wind. Almost sounded like a cat fight. Almost. Alright, I think we just need just a little bit more in here, and then that side will be good. Not a whole lot, just a little. Just a little bit. There's gonna be some more of this dark green that's gonna come around here. So we get a little bit further down. This thing's getting so stiff with all of the layers of fiber on it. It is definitely not all that floppy. Alright. Getting a bit heavy too. Alright, so that's probably, well, that's gonna get trimmed up, so that's not bad. Okay, now stick that little tiny bit of green back in its containment unit. Alright, and we'll stick you over there for the time being. Now, where is, there it is. Right, so we have our sky blue, which is our watercolor. And we started to get this sorted out a bit. Last week we just didn't quite get it fully sorted. We're basically just gonna go over the yellow sections. We don't really need the yellow section. It's gonna look funny with where we are on this, so. By the time we get everything else worked in here, it's not really gonna be there anymore, honestly. Alright, so get this all sorted out. Now a little of it might still peek through. And at this point, if it does, it does, but least it won't be quite so glaringly obvious that we changed our minds on it. Or that I changed my mind on it. So we are going to have a little bit of white coming in on top of this. You alright?
Mm-hmm.
Do you need to do balsam fir?
Huh? What?
Do you need to do a balsam fir?
No.
Okay. Alright. Wasn't sure if I had to turn off my incense so that he can burn a different one. The other one's a lot stronger than what I've got going. Okay. We do need just a little bit more of that up there, I think. I'm not so sure that the white's fully gonna do what it needs to do up there. I mean, it may, but you know, we'll see. All right. Yeah, it's still kind of, it might just be there. We might just have to deal with it. But it's not quite as visible as it had been. I feel like I'm stuffing a pillow, trying to make sure I don't go up onto the shoreline too much there. Crunch, 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 crunch. All right. Actually, us coming back in and going over that might be working in our favor. Sorry, I'm still not convinced I'm happy with that over there. I can fuss with that later, I suppose. Alright. So, a couple sections in there that aren't fully attached to my liking. Alright. Grab our next little poofy guy. I'm just gonna get him worked into here. All right. We might need to go grab the big guy here for at least a few tack downs. To make sure I keep an eye on that rubber band. A couple of the cats are obsessed with them. Gonna put you over there. That should tuck you out of the way. Alright, so just a teeny bit more. One more spot here, and then I think we'll do one more pass on. And that over there. And then if it covers it, great. If it doesn't, well then we'll just have to roll with it. But this seems to be doing the trick over here. For the most part. All right. One more spot. Let me just make sure that that's flattened out so we can see what we're doing here. It doesn't look very sky blue when it's not on top of itself, but it says it is, and when you get it down and layered up, it is, but when it's all on its own, it looks kind of gray. Almost like a dirty white or like a cream. See how you are. Whoop. See how you were looking. I wanted to take everything with it. Section up in here that needed a little bit more. Alright. That didn't really hit all the spots I wanted it to. So that's fine. I'll just grab the little guy again. For he has served us well. Okay. That should do. Okay. Now, tuck you back in your containment units. So that you stay out of trouble. And let me see, where are we at, Bob? Alright, we need to grab our white. So I'm knocking everything over. Okay. So for this, we're gonna turn this way. It'll be easier for me. We kind of need to pull this sort of straight down. Now we might need to do a couple of passes on this depending on how well this shows up visually. But we'll have to see how this goes here. And the bottom can be a little willy-nilly there. All right. Work on getting that kind of right on the edge of where our water starts. Because the white is going on a light color, so we might need to do a couple of passes just to get the idea down. Like I can see some of what I'm looking for. Don't know how well it's translating through the camera. Probably not very well. Hi, Zuzu. What's up, my bud? Hi. Why are you trying to climb up my lap while I'm using the sharp objects? I mean, I can just barely see it, so it's probably not coming through. Hi. What's up? What can I do for you? Hi. Oh. Is it time to potty?
Alright, give me a minute.
Do I need to get him?
No, I'll get him. Just give me a minute.
Alright. Alright, so I think we might need to do this a little bit differently. Just to try to get it conveyed here. A little bit brighter. We're gonna have like a poofy section at the bottom. So yeah, we definitely have to make that a bit thicker here. It might be easier to come in with the white and just do what we want to do solidly. And then maybe come back over it with the light blue. Or even our dark blue. We could do the dark blue. If we have to. That is a possibility. Alright, you know what? That's just a little tiny bit left over, so we're just gonna work that into the base of that. Alright, so definitely want to snake this pretty good. And we will... Actually, let's use this side.
Sorry for the noise.
That's okay. You alright?
Yeah. Explains the sinus headache.
Ah. Oh, well, let me shut the window.
Nah, it's not bad. It's dry.
Oh. I mean, it rained a little bit, I think, last week. One day it did. We had some storms, but it was not enough to undry things out. It would seem. We're sort of getting it. We're sort of getting there. Alright, let me lift that up so it doesn't become too attached. Kinda, sorta. Don't know if we'll really need to add the darker blue in. We might need to add just a little bit of dark blue. We'll see. But I'm kind of leaning that way. Okay, let me do another little trim there. And we'll get this guy into position there. Okay. I've got fluff flying everywhere when I do that. It's flipping and flying everywhere. Okay. So yeah, we do have to go a little bit thicker. I think we will grab a little bit of our dark blue there. To kind of get the point across. Was this the color? It might have been. Yeah, I think so. We don't need a whole lot of this. A whole lot would be bad. All right. Really separate this out. Where's our tool? At least just down to the base of it. And that will help darken that up just a little bit. seem to have some yellow poking through there. That's stubborn yellow. Well, maybe we can put some little white, misty, poofy guys up there. Can we do something with this little tiny strand? I don't know. It might be a little too little. Nope, come, grab it. That kind of worked. Alright, that's kind of picking up a bit better. Let's re-flatten that out a bit. Alright. Let's grab another bit of our dark blue. And we want it a little bit snaked. But not too much. Trim that up. Just trying to make sure that the rest of it's still staying where it needs to be. Alright, in this section, looks like it needs a little bit more white coming down. So that we can see our darker blue a little bit better. I think we need just a little bit more up into here. So this kind of reminds me of needle felting a little bit. Oh, Jesus Christ. Needle pointing, not needle felting. What we're doing is needle felting. My brain. Bear with me, guys. It's been a long week. I'm thinking, yeah, we're doing needle felting. It reminds me of needle point. It's very different from needle pointing. But it reminds me of it. Like, the end look reminds me of needle pointing. So needle pointing is sort of not exactly the same as embroidery, but it's a little bit more involved than, say, cross stitch. Just gonna tack down a little bit of white at the top. Just to kind of deal with our yellow poking through. My grandfather used to do needlepoint, and he tried to teach me it, and I just couldn't keep all the stitches straight as to what was what and all that. You okay, Momo? You alright? Okay. I heard the frantic tapping of Momo feet on the floor. I can kinda do a cross stitch. I'm better at cross stitch when it's a stamped pattern. I'm kinda kafutzed if it's not a stamped pattern. So some kits will have the pattern pre-stamped on the linen. If I have to figure it out without a pattern, yeah, I'm boned. I also used to do latch hook. That was okay. With the little latch hooky kits. But a lot of those, they kind of stopped stamping the pattern on the canvas they gave you. Sort of like a linen canvas type deal. That was a little bit more challenging because my brain had to try to remember what number or what color and how many numbers across it had to go, and there'd be some tense moments there of, oh, did I just fuck this up? As it is, on the paint by number I'm working on, as I'm going, I'm not sure if I covered over connecting sections or if they just expect you to realize that this number is supposed to be that number. There was a paper key that came with it that was a much smaller but exact copy of it that I have had to reference a couple of times because I was like, oh shit, did I just done fuck up? Because those numbers are tiny. And the section I'm currently working in on that is pretty busy. I will say. do a little trim there, and I'm looking at this and I feel like it looks like we've got a bit of a gap right there. I don't think we really do. I think it's just the way it looks. I think it's just because it's a bit smooshed down in that section. So I might have to retouch the rest of this just a little. Let me see if we can re-smooth out that section in there. Kinda. I can see the yellow coming through. It is being really stubborn in that water section now. So, like in the upper section, where I wasn't expecting it to be that stubborn. So we may just have to redo this part. And that's okay if we do. We just want to get this right the first time. And if that's what we gotta, that's what we gotta. All right. So this section is just being rather stubborn. Though I suppose that yellow peeking through at the top didn't help matters with how I attempted to fix it. Let me move to a different section of the pad here. See if that helps. That one section might just be a little too soft. I don't know why that particular spot is being quite so fussy. Well, that might just have to be fussy. Get a little bit more white on this side. Okay, where? Ow! Don't stab thyself with the scissors now. Okay. Alright, where's our bit of... Got so many little strands of blue here. Okay. We'll get this one worked in. And maybe one more strand on that one. Just trying to figure out if we need a little bit more brown in that one corner, and we might. That might be what we do. We'll get this worked in here. Okay, and then let's tag all of that down into there. And I think we need to redo our middle dark piece just a little, if I can hit it. Alright, now that actually works pretty good for flattening that guy out there a bit. Alright. I think before we get too far, I am going to grab just the tiniest bit. The tiniest bit of our dark brown. Teeny, super tiny. You go that way. Just kind of work that into that yellow gap. that refuses to go away. Alright, let's see. Again, you don't have to do the smoothing out thing, I just am. Okay, that's a bit better. Alright, now, for our water, we need a bit of a section where it's kind of indicative of our splashing area. So, I'm gonna snake this out just a little bit. Actually, let's go a little bit thinner. But let's grab a little bit of our dark blue. And just kind of get them about the same length. I don't know how well this is gonna work. It might not work at all. That's a little big. Let's just see. This may work, this may not work. I might have to do separate colors here. Or we might just have to come back over it with the white. Which might be what we end up doing. Yeah, alright, so let's do our darker color in there first. And we'll kind of come back and hit that with the white a little bit. Just so we can see it. Actually, we might need to raise that a little. Let me see, where are we at, Bob? kind of a bit of a chunky section there. Alright, so let's grab our white now. And we're going to try to do our little spiral shape. It's probably going to be completely unravel here. But we will try. Try to do it this way. Don't know if that's really gonna work or not. We will see. So you've never done needlepoint, but you have done a lot of cross stitching, mostly without patterns stamped on the linen. Yeah, it's once you find your center point, it's not so bad without the stamped pattern. I have trouble keeping things straight, so mine would be crooked as shit. Because I can't even draw a straight line with a T-square half the time. And I kind of feel like if you're good at pixel art, you'd probably be really good at making your own latch hook rug patterns. That might be fun, but I'm terrible at pixel art. Then you're also working within the confines of trying to get the right colors. I'm sure there's probably a program out there that probably costs $1 bajillion where you can pop a photo in and they can like tell you what colors you need and stuff. So just trying to get the white splash misty stuff in place here. There you are. I was like, I just had you. What on earth did I do with you? 'Cause I mean, well, to me, Adobe is $1 bazillion, so... Or it might as well be for my budget. I mean, there could be a free program out there, I don't know. That would be fun, though, to turn your own artwork into a latch hook rug. That would be neat. Because I know you can do, like, custom diamond paintings. I wonder if you can do custom latch hook. I suppose you could. Although I don't know if latch hook's really all that popular still. I mean, I'm sure some people still do it. A lot of people seem to be into the making your own rug thing. But like with that scary looking machine where you're like punching it through a piece of burlap or something. No idea how heavy it is. It looks like it would be heavy. I mean, it can't be too heavy because most people are using it one-handed, but... That might be a little too loud for me. All right. So we're getting there. We are getting there. Remember when I was little, they had those little, like, kids kits for, like, the cross stitch and stuff. There is a free web page that you can put a photo in and make patterns for you. You can have it typed out row by row. You made a crochet blanket with a picture of your mom when you were a kid. Oh, neat. That's pretty neat. If I was better at the needle pointy things, I had actually contemplated doing the flamingo emote pins on plastic canvas and putting them up in the shop that way, but I am terrible with the needle pointy things. Absolutely terrible. But I think those would be cool because you don't see much of well, I haven't looked, so I can't say that. Like everybody's kind of into like the resin pins and the enamel pins and all, but let's face it, the enamel pins are not really handmade. You may have designed it, but it wasn't really handmade. Not by you, unless you have all of that equipment in your garage or something, or a studio where you're, and all the computer equipment where you yourself are running it through the machine. I might be able to. I was thinking of trying that. I need to get the colors though. I don't have any flamingo-y colors on me. I only have that one light pink. So maybe with the next round of payouts from Twitch that might not be for some time, I can get some more supplies. Like, I'm trying to figure out, because they'd be a little bit floppy as a pin. So maybe I could needle felt it. Bless you, puppy.
Bless you.
And maybe glue it to the back of a piece of plastic canvas? Or like a stiff piece of felt? Just to give it a little more body to it, I guess. Might be worth looking into. Because just the piece itself would be too like malleable, I guess. I'd be worried about it, the pin back coming off. That's not too bad. Kind of gets the point across. Alright, and then we have to do some ripply things, so let's see here, Bob. Actually, Bob, let me advance you just a moment here. I want to see where this is going. Alright, so he takes a little bit of white. Oh my, we're not there yet, Bob. We're not there yet. Okay. See, okay, alright. Oh boy, we've got some big old trees coming in. Oh my. Yeah, like maybe I could like at least, you know, get the frame back of it, because plastic canvas is usually pretty cheap, or at least it used to be. I don't know if it still is. Right, he kind of did a bit of a straight water line here. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pull that off, because our water's not exactly, or our land here is not exactly all that great there, but maybe even just the stiff felt. It's Bob, of course there's gonna be big trees. Yeah, I just wasn't expecting the big tree quite so soon. I thought we were still gonna be doing some groundwork. Surprise! Spoiler alert. There's a big tree coming. Maybe the stiff felt would be a better idea, because that I can trim a little bit, and that's probably cheaper than the plastic canvas. The plastic canvas might be a struggle. But some fabric glue on the back and attach it to a piece of stiff felt. Maybe. Definitely something to think about. Do you work with Fimo clay? You might be able to do the bottom. I have Sculpey. I had thought about doing painted pins, and I finally found a sealer to put on the Sculpey that doesn't make it sticky. We could do that still. That is an option. I was gonna try to do some on plastic canvas. The plastic, or not the plastic canvas, the shrink plastic. Oh, I've got plastic canvas on the brain. Because I've done some on those before. The shrink plastic is really temperamental. So then you can bake the pin thingy in the clay, and yeah. I also have some super attachy glue that seems to hold my magnets pretty well. So it ought to hold the pin backs pretty good too. So I mean, there's some options that I can look into. I did a demo with colored pencil on the shrink plastic, and colored pencil works pretty well on them. It's just a little transparent. So, and I can do the I can do acrylic paint on the shrink plastic if it's the right consistency. And I've done it before, but I never know if the consistency is actually right until it comes out of the oven. So if it's a little too thick, it bubbles, and then what you did isn't salvageable. And if I paint it when it comes out, it'll just come right off, even with the sealer. Because this was one of the demos I did. I didn't do all of the coloring. I forgot to color the beak white because I was just trying to lay down the color. And it took a little bit to get that built up. I mean, they didn't come out bad. I don't know if I sealed that or not. And I know I still have the sealer here somewhere. I just don't know where I put it. Probably in a basket on the cart next to me. Probably. So Bob's got a little bit of, don't do this with the handle. If you do, just keep your face away from it. I just realized I probably shouldn't be doing that. With the needle sticking straight up. So Bob's got some like watery, ripply thingies in here from the splash and all. I was starting to do that, and I was like, I don't know. Do I want to keep going with that? Do I want to put in some more splashy circles here? I kind of feel like we might need some more dark splashy circles. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. The color pencil is a little bit, I actually didn't look that see-through. So, like, this is the back, because that's the side that was touching the pan. So the pin back would get attached to there. The only thing is, I did run my finger over it, and I did put a teeny tiny mark. But I don't know if that was a mark in the pencil, or if that was a mark in the sealer. I can't remember if I sealed it. My brain forgets so many things. It really shouldn't. My poor brain. All right. I feel like we kind of need some of our dark splashy things in here. You all right, Momo? Momo's having a day. Somebody knocked over his water. I think it landed on his blanket in his little box that he likes to sleep in. It was hell getting that blanket away from him. Just so we could wash it, we had to trick him and get him out of his little dog bed box that we made him. And then he got back in it and looked so betrayed. He's like, "You took my blanket." I'm like, "I know, buddy, but you haven't let me wash it in like 6 months, and it smelled really bad." But he was rather happy when he got it back. Hello?
Hmm?
Did my mom just knock?
No. I've been hearing that off and on all this time.
Alright, must be something from outside then. I really thought it was somebody knocking at our door. Sorry, guys. Sometimes Russell doesn't hear it when he has his headphones in, so I wasn't sure if I was hearing things. So, I think I'm kind of liking the dark splashy thingies in here. Just to help break up all of the white splashy doodles. So again, sorry this method takes a bit longer for us to get through, but we can't just like blend a shade like Bob can in like 3 seconds flat, like you can do with paint. It takes a little bit more trying to figure out how you want to approach it and all that stuff. Because unfortunately a fan brush isn't going to help us here. Maybe here. We're gonna come back in with like another little bit of white splashy stuff. Put in around this. P-Butt, don't be getting into trouble. Got the crab tank looked into. Was that yesterday or the day before? And it was recently. And all the crabs still seem to be alive, so that's good. They're hermiting along. I saw somebody trying to poke at a new shell last night when I was on my way to bed. And I don't know if they slipped or if I scared them, but they suddenly just fell backwards. And I didn't know if I was going to have to go in on a turtle rescue mission because they were on their back and all of their little limbs were flailing. And I was like, oh no, do I have to go in and pick them up? But I waited for a few minutes and they managed to right themselves without too much trouble. So I was like, okay, they're good. Because Russell had already gone to bed, so I was like, oh no. I'm afraid to touch them, but I might have to go on a crabby rescue mission. One of these days we'll get crab cam up. Holy moly, that was hard to say. One of these days. Probably not until we're able to get the 50-gallon tank up and running for them, though. I already have the 50-gallon tank in our shed. Collecting dust, so might as well. We just need to get the money eventually to get some more crabby bedding. Primarily, that's the biggest thing. And I think a second heat pad. A second one or a bigger one altogether would be needed to heat that size tank. Because we only have one that's rated for the smaller tank that I had. We had done fish a couple times, so we had the tanks sitting around not really doing anything after all the fish had long since moved on to a different fishy plane. And I hadn't wanted to get rid of them because, you know, they were money. So we weren't sure if we were done attempting fish or not, and he kind of wanted to get back into his crabs at some point, so alright. We're getting our splashy water in here. Slowly but surely. I wasn't too sure that putting in the dark blue in that section was the right call, but I think it's working. At least to some degree. I really like a fish tank, but I don't have room for one. Yeah, they can be pretty big. We had a small desk-sized one. I don't think it had a filter on it. I don't remember that we had a betta fish in. No, I don't think it had a filter because we had to change that water like every couple of days. That was a bit of a pain in the ass. Not gonna lie. If we'd had something a little bit bigger that we could have a tiny filter running through, it wouldn't have been so bad. But the fish tanks are a bit of work with the water changes and the vacuuming and And we both kind of accepted defeat after the last batch of fish, because we just couldn't keep up with it with everything else we had going on. It was just becoming too much. And we weren't quite sure how the one fish survived so long, because I had 3 blue dwarf goriamis, and man, those suckers, they held out really long. I was not expecting them to make it that long, and boy, did they surprise. And I think I was down to 2 of them, and we got a couple of ghost shrimp and some tetras to put in there with them. We don't know what happened to the shrimp. We're not even sure we had gotten all of them that we paid for. We think they killed one of them or injured one of them significantly when they were putting them in the bag. And never really saw the other 2 after they got put in the water, in the tank. And but oh my goodness, those tetras are usually so picky about their water condition. And the water condition definitely got away from us, and several of those guys really hung in there, and we're just like, how are you still alive? Any other time I've tried to keep tetras alive, they won't keep. They're so fussy, and yet these guys, man, they were just doing their own little tetra thing. I was like, oh, all right then. Good for you, I guess. I don't know how, but okay. Not sure if we should put excuse me. Not sure if I'm gonna put any dark ripples in. I mean, we could. I wonder what that's gonna do for us, if anything. You didn't want a small tank like you like the bigger one, but it is a lot of work to keep it nice. You had a 132 gallon tank. Oh my god, that was a lot of work, but I really miss it. Miss the tank, not the work. Yeah, you know. Wow, 132 gallon tank. Wow, that had to be a lot of work. Yeah, I've always liked the idea of trying to do saltwater fish, but there's no way. I know my limitations, and that is definitely well above them. But I kind of wanted to just get a couple of goldfish, but I did not realize how big those goldfish can get. Like, not like koi fish. I wanted like just regular goldfish. And then, hi Zuzu, I don't have anything for you, buddy. I promise. And you went out like an hour ago. And it is very much not time yet. Hi. You've been learning to beg for food from Grammy and Grampy. And now you get mad when I don't have anything for you. I'm sorry. You have your own food though, and you have plenty of water. Yes, you do. Are you just itchy? We're gonna have to close that window soon. The air's getting chilly. Scratchy butt. I would pick him up and show you guys, but my camera's flipped upside down, so you would only see an upside down doggo.
What?
Which is kind of hard to convey. I
You
don't
just
know.
went.
He wants attention or cuddles or something. Yeah.
You're on the bed. On the bed.
You just went potty. You're not going again. We don't go out every hour, bud. I think he just wants something that I don't have. So you wanted to make the big tank saltwater, but you gave up really fast when looking into it? Yeah. Those are... Saltwater's big bucks, too. With all of the things that you need. And some of them you need chillers for, and... I was just like, wow. Maybe not. Maybe that's not for me. I kind of want a bird. I've never had a bird. We might be able to do one if we keep doing the scented wax melts and not the actual like burny, smoky. Oh my goodness, Zuzu. What are you doing with that dog? Russell's getting him wound up is what he's doing. So he's probably gonna bark. So you might want to adjust your headphones accordingly. But like the one set of incense that I can tolerate that we would burn was like light on fire, so it emitted like smoke and stuff, and that was bad for the birds, so we couldn't really do with that. We can't do a bird right now anyway because of the cats. Because we have a couple of cats that would stop at nothing to try to eat said bird, so that's very much down the road. Maybe when we don't have any cat. Maybe. Certainly not anytime soon. Let's trim that. Zuzu! Oh my goodness. Okay.
Here, Squeaks. Come here. Come here.
He is the squeakiest dog ever.
Oh, that's Squeaks. Oh, that's Squeaks. Hi, Momo.
But he's...
Hi, buddy.
You don't want a bird they are too noisy for you? Yeah, that's the one thing I'm worried about, because I do get migraines from time to time, and I might want to murder the bird if I have a migraine and they're being noisy, so that's more of a maybe someday, but will probably never happen. We'll probably always talk about it, but never actually do it. So, because I know I can just see me having like a 3-day migraine and just staring at the bird and like envisioning my ears bleeding, so I'm just like make it stop. But yeah, so I mean it'll probably never happen. I'll probably just stick to tiny dogs that I can pick up when they're misbehaving. I've gone the big dog route. And while I enjoy the big dogs, I also had big dogs that had health problems where they couldn't get up steps on their own, and that was a struggle.
I'm sorry, my limit is any dog that you have to be able to pick up on your own.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Yeah. Because that was...
What happened with Bernie was terrible.
Bernie?
St. Bernard?
When did we have to pick him up?
When he started to pass and we had to take him to the vet.
Oh,
and
yeah.
call your coworker in. Because we didn't have a vehicle that could fit him.
Oh, I thought Richard helped us with that.
No.
I didn't remember that.
It was the one lady with the blonde hair because she swore she'd never help us again. Because she was that upset about the condition of the dog, and I'm like, you got sick.
I don't remember that dog. I mean, that lady.
You remember her? She was your exec for a while, and then she got fired because she spoke back to a customer.
Oh!
Yeah, remember? She was one one who actually...
There was a lot of blondes that I worked with.
I'm sorry, I should have been
So...
more precise. The one who mouthed off, rightly so.
Okay, that one.
Yeah, she helped us get Bernie to the vet when he had to get put down. And she was all upset because of Bernie's condition, and, you know...
Well, he suddenly had a heart condition out of nowhere. We didn't fucking know. He showed no symptoms of it until then.
I mean, he didn't exactly have an active lifestyle before then, so we may not have noticed.
He very much was a couch potato.
Yeah, well...
Very much a couch potato.
The parents reached the point of not being able to take care of a big active dog anymore, and, well...
You love dogs, but you can't get one. Your illness makes it so you can't guarantee you'd be able to get out at least 3 times a day with it. Yeah, the smaller dogs are easier for us. Because we have trained them to go on a tiny puppy potty pad for when we can't get outside.
Which is a blessing, because it's every 2 hours.
Yeah, the one dog has, like, the bladder the size of a pea. And, so he, like, always wants to be going out, and if I'm asleep, it's not gonna happen. So, we've trained them to use that when we can't get outside. They still prefer to go outside, which is fine, and understandable. And we do get them out when we're able to. But also with the weather here at times, we can't go outside. If we're in the middle of like a severe weather event or something and they don't understand that there's a tornado warning and we can't go outside to pee right now.
Or those 4 days where it was freezing cold and covered in snow and the one dog would only step outside, look at the snow, and then turn around and come back in.
Yeah, Zuzu doesn't like to get his feet wet. He's very much a prissy doggy. We were on vacation, our first vacation since our honeymoon, and we ended up bringing the dogs with us because it was the best option at the time. And we were walking down the side alley because we were going to Hard Rock Cafe to have breakfast, I think, and they were dog friendly and we could just sit outside, and we're like, okay, that's fine, because we didn't want to leave them unattended in the vacation rental because they howl when we're not around, and then we would have been told we had to leave because they were making too much noise. So we were walking down the side alley, and it had rained the night before, and there was puddles everywhere, and oh my goodness, are they like racing down the road? Like, holy crap.
They're just loud and annoying with their big ass truck.
Wow, that was a truck.
I think so.
Yeah, there's that one big black truck that's obnoxious. Anyhow, you all right?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, I wasn't expecting you to blow your nose. So we're about halfway down the alley. It was like a half a block, okay? Momo's taller than Zuzu, and he's kind of prancing around them. He doesn't really like to get his feet too wet either, but he's not as big of a priss as Zuzu. And Zuzu and I got up to the edge of the puddle, and he looked at it. And he looked up at me, and he looked back at it. And I'm like, come on, it's just water. We're just gonna walk around it. See, here's a little tiny dry spot. And you know what? This puddle's not even that deep. It's not even going over the top of my shoe. Come on. I was like, you're fine. He dug in and would not step through the puddle. He wouldn't jump over the puddle. He saw the puddle and the mud, and he's like, nope. And I'm like, come on, buddy. Let's go. Look, it's not quite so wet over here. No. I had to bend down and pick his ass up and walk past the puddles and put him back down on the ground before he would keep walking. I was like, really, dude? He's about 20 pounds-ish. He doesn't even come up to my knee. Like, the middle of his back is, like, just below my knee, like, middle of my shin. So he's a little guy, but he's pretty solid. So it was a solid 20 pounds. Momo's almost 20, but he's like a skeleton, even though he eats and eats and eats. But he's a lot taller than Zuzu. And he just was like kind of prancing along, and I'd given Momo over to Russell because Momo's a little bit more willing to work with you when he's on a leash. Zuzu's just like, no, I'm not doing it. So, and we'd worked so hard on leash manners before we took them. And, sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. And the mother-in-law really wasn't good with the dog on the leash. So sometimes I ended up with both of them. And I had Russell walk in front of us. And I used Russell as a target. And I'm like, follow daddy, follow daddy. Because they were getting distracted by the people walking past us on the street and stuff. If I ever had to do it again, I would totally, like at puppy stage, get them used to like a doggy stroller if I knew that they'd be in an area that was busy on the street, and get them used to riding in something and just stick them in there and walk down the street and let them get out and go pee and then put them back in and just keep on going. Because these guys were a little unprepared by all of the people. They loved all of the people. They wanted to say hello to everybody. They wanted to smell everybody. I'm like, buddy, you can't just walk in front of people. And they were so little, right? So you can't really see them coming until you're about to fall over them. But, and then Zuzu got too much exercise, or he may have crossed one of his toenails. We're not sure what happened, but then he like started limping the one day, and I'm like, oh good, now we can't really take you anywhere. Somebody has to stay here with you. So that was an interesting adventure. But they did okay for the most part. But yeah, small dogs from here on out, because I also had a 90-some pound collie that suddenly out of nowhere would forget to how to come up our back steps. And I'm like, what? You ran down them. Why do you not know how to come up them? And he would refuse. He would sit there in the pouring rain, and I'm like trying to put my arms under him to get him up the stairs, and he would just be like, no. A couple times he would snap at me, and I'm like, fine, sit out here in the rain then. And then he would like stand in the corner and stare at the wall at times. Or he'd like get himself in the corner and then act like he didn't know how to get out, and if you tried to help him, he got snappy. And I'm like, what the hell? And we had actually mentioned this to our vet a couple of times, and they didn't really seem to think anything of it. They're like, oh, he's just being temperamental, or he just really didn't want to come in. And we're like, yeah, but he had to come in. It got to the point where I had to start putting a towel under his stomach, and Russell and I would kind of have to like heave him up the stairs because he was being so stubborn about it. Come to find out, he had we didn't even know what the fuck was wrong with him. He was like flopping all over the floor and making all these weird noises, and we're like, oh my god, what the fuck is going on? Because it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and we quick got him to an emergency vet that my one of my siblings had known about. And by the time we got him there, he had passed. We were like, what the fuck happened? They said, based off of everything that we were telling them, they're like, oh, that's classic signs of a possible brain tumor. And we're like, what? And she's like, yeah, like they could be having a brain tumor or a seizure and you not realize that they had one, and they can go temporarily blind, and they'll act like they can't come up the stairs because they don't see them, or they've forgotten because of the seizure, or they're having an episode where they can't really see, so they're in the corner and they're scared, and that's why they were snapping. And we're like, that would have been nice if our regular vet had ever told us any of this. We could have done something a lot sooner. But like, that was kind of angering that our original vet never mentioned anything about it. Because we would have, got him on medication or something, and nope, never mentioned it. So that kind of pissed us off. It was rather uncalled for, because they could have said, we might want to look into that further. They're just like, oh, dog antics. And I'm like, oh, really? I was like, right. I was like, I don't think you understand that we spent an hour in the pouring rain trying to get the dog up the steps. This is a little more than dog antics. But, they just kind of laughed it off at the original vet, and I'm like, yeah, I really don't want to go to you guys anymore. We don't live in that state anymore, so it's not really an issue any longer, but, yeah, I didn't really care for that particular vet. So that wasn't fun. And we stopped taking any of the dogs there when we thought they had a medical issue. We would go to that other vet that had the emergency hours that seemed to know what they were doing a bit more. So yeah, no, I think we only took a couple of the cats in there because we never had an issue with the cats, and we saw a different vet for the cat. But yeah, never again with the dogs there. Absolutely not. But you know, what can you do at this point? Hindsight, I guess. Now we know what to watch for. But and when to make an issue about pursuing something. But I think that's going to do it for today. I know we didn't get too far, but, you know, we got this other section filled in. We got our grass in here. I know the grass on this side still looks a little suspect. Not quite to the same level as this side, but we're going to have some big trees, as we saw, coming in here, and probably going to be covering up a bunch of that. But we'll worry about that next time. Because our waterfall did take a little bit of time getting worked out. And like I said, I don't know what stream schedule's gonna... Sorry, Russell has the front door open and all of the sound is coming in. So as soon as he shuts that, we can talk again. Okay, there we go. So I don't know what this week's stream schedule is gonna look like. Tentatively, it will be normal. I will have more information on that probably by Tuesday, so don't forget to watch Twitter. That's at NiseyBGN over there. So we've got that going on because we have to get the pipes repaired so that we can have a functioning bathroom, a properly functioning bathroom again. So we are doing the fundraiser at the bottom to try to get the money to pay that off as quickly as possible. So that's going to be it for tonight. We're going to go see Zortz. Zortz looks like he's streaming some Saints Row, which I don't think he's done Saints Row in a while. So I thank you guys for hanging out with me this afternoon. Greatly appreciate it, and I'll see you later this week.